Well, a very good evening, everyone, and welcome to DTR. This is Division 1 Tuesday night racing. We are round 9 at what looks like to be a very wet Silverstone. So obviously qualifying is going to be wet. We'll wait and see whether that affects the race as well, but obviously could turn the grid upside down slightly. We've got 17 on the grid tonight. Got a few of the regulars missing. Unfortunately, Ibony's still away with work. We've got Michael missing with a broken wheel. Carwin Rob unable to make it this week. Ira Stein, Sven Horsen, and last week's winner Yari is unable to make it with us this week either. So unfortunately, quite a few drivers missing, but we have had a few reserves that have stepped in to give us the grid of 17. So we have Zavi, Wazza, Stav, or Stavrolus, Tickard and Cassell are our reserves today. So see anybody on an outlap? We have, looks like Chalkers is the first one out. So as per normal, I will stick with the first person out of the pits. So we'll see what Chalkers can do. So yeah, very wet Silverstone here. Will be very interesting to see how the grid stacks up. Whilst we're awaiting for the times to come in, what we'll do is we'll just pop up the driver's standings just to have a quick look. So as you can see, we've got Chalkers leading the way on 119 points with Shabby on 114, so just 5 points difference between those two there. Shabby able to race today, wasn't able to earlier, but has managed to turn up tonight, and we'll be looking to try and regain the lead in the championship. We then have Ibony in third, Michael in fourth, so 72 and 70 points respectively. So we've got a good 42 point gap between second and third, so I think it really will be between these front two. Look at the constructors, McLaren looking very strong on 189 points, obviously with Chalkers leading the championship and Michael in fourth in the drivers. Alfa Romeo coming in second with Shabby and Wesley. So we'll see if they can improve on that today. So right, let's get back to the track, back to the action. We're following Chalkers now, who's coming along the village straight up into Brooklands. So I don't think we're going to see some hugely quick times to start with. People just obviously feeling their way. But it certainly looks, yeah, wet tyres. So I don't know if anyone will go on to Inters. We'll see. We'll see what happens later in qualifying. Getting things set up from my end. I think we are good now. So we are following Chalkers coming in down onto the Hangar Straight. They just have Stowe, Vale and Club to go before the start-finish line, and we'll see what he can put on the board as a guideline time. Go Chalkers just around the second part of Club onto the start finish line, puts in a 139.2. So our first banker from Chalkers is a 139.2. We are then going to have Wazzers on his outlap. Let's just find who the next person across is going to be. I think it's going to be one of the Alpha Tories. It's going to be Prince with a 148.076 and 9 seconds slower, but as I say, just feeling at the moment. Black Mamba there coming across with a 139.5 and Kiko at 39.4. No ticket obviously in the McLaren tonight, replacing Michael, who's unavailable to race. So big hello to Michael, hope you get your wheel on Friday, and you'll be back in Division 1 next week. Okay, so just waiting for some times to be set. Let's have a look at drive on board with Shabby on his lap, just to see. I think these are the first laps Shabby's had in a while. Had his house in turmoil recently, so has certainly had no time to practice, or I believe it's actually been packed away, so he had to get it out quickly for tonight's race. So good to have you here, Shabby. We'll see what you can do. So Bossbot's there, crossing the line fastest at a 139.182, just ahead of Wesley. So the times are starting to come down now. Just trying to catch someone who's on a fast lap. So we have a McLaren crossing now. Wazza will be the next to set a lap. We'll see what time Wazza can put on the board. So perhaps that was an invalidation, so nothing from Wazza there. Bren coming into the final section. In the Alpine, I'm sure he'd love to get some points on the board in this race, and so with 17 in the race, we could see a few happen. So DTR Brent there jumping himself up into second place. So we have Broomer and the Williams in provisional pole at the moment, and Brent in second, but it's going to change a lot as drivers get used to the conditions. So Brent has put in a fast lap already. We'll see who will be the next to cross the line. I think no, Invisible's into the pits. Shabby, I think invalidated, certainly hasn't set a lap time there. Next cross is going to be Bossmots. Not sure if he's... I think they would put fuel in and do a few laps just to get used to the conditions there. Bossmot's moving out the way nicely there. So that only to be expected. We have a spinner, Chalkers. Looks like going into club. It's been caught out by the wet conditions, but no damage done, and he will continue absolutely fine. So Chalkers will be looking for his 4th pole position this year. As I say, he's been hugely consistent this year, which is obviously the main factor why he's at the head of the constructors standing, the drivers standing at the moment. But also it is a fair share of bad luck. I think in the last race at Monaco, he had quite a few front wing changes and finished in 8th place. And the only other time he's had a bad result was round 3 in Belgium, where I think he was 13th. Apart from that, he's been on the podium. They've finished every race. 6 podiums from 8. That's not a bad return. Okay, Tickard there putting in a purple first sector. But I don't think that's going to continue. He's with Shabby as he comes round. Shabby's invalidated. So again, Shabby just feeling his way at the moment. Broomer into the pits. So he's done his work for the moment. Bosswhat's coming in. Can he improve on a 139.182? Currently benchmark 138.634 by Broomer in the Williams. And Bosswhat's doesn't improve there. Okay, next we have Wazza in the Red Bull. Jump on board with Wazza. Really, really tricky conditions. Sorry, I should have cut to this camera a bit earlier so we could see exactly the state of the track. Tickard improves to 4th with a 139.094. That's a good jump, about 3/10 improvement there by Tickard. Wesley's on a slow lap there. Cassell, we'll see how Cassell's getting on, currently in 11th place with a 140.5. Looks like he's going to improve, but not by a huge amount. A second, so yeah, it's a fairly huge amount. So again, just feeling his way. Shelby final set of 138.136, so the first clean lap that Shabby puts on the board puts him in provisional pole position by half a second. And second place just in front of him there is Broomer. So Shabby, is he easing off on this lap, or is he going to go for 2 hot laps in a row? We will see shortly when he gets to the end of sector 1. He's on another lap. He's already up 0.03. Ticket is out. I missed Ticket there. I'm not sure. It looks like... Yeah, it looks like it's on the Hanger Straight. So it looks like coming out of Beckett's and Chapel. Might have gotten the power a bit too early and lost the rear end. But the conditions are very difficult at the moment. So Trench, welcome to Trench. Obviously couldn't make it last week. Made his debut the week before and got a pole position on his debut. So it'll be interesting to see what Trench can do today. Okay, Wesley is pitting. And Prince is out as well. Prince looks like he has fallen victim at Woodcote. So turns between turns 7 and 8, looks like he has again. It's obviously the wet conditions. You get on that throttle a little bit too early, and you're gone. So unfortunately, Prince and Tickard will not be improving on their times. Currently in 5th and 6th, so not too bad. But I can see these times tumbling down towards the end of qualifying. But yeah, cracking lap there by Shabby as he put himself 3-4 feeler laps in once he's got his play seat back up, and then pumps in half a second quicker than anybody else. Okay, so who do we have on the track? Trench is on a hot lap. We'll see how he's going to get on. Who else have we got? Bren, I think, is the leader of these 4 cars. So we'll be the first to put a lap on the board of these 4. We'll see how he's doing. Going through Beckett's and Chapel now, entering onto the Hanger Straight. So just at the end of sector 2 now. So it's a 111.938. Like behind we have Broomer on a lap. Oh, Brent, that's it. I think Brent had a moment there, so it'd probably be better I did cut away from him. We will jump on board with with Broomer though, sorry, as he enters the second part of club onto the start-finish line and puts in a 38.223, so not quite as quick as Shabby, but he's not far behind now. 0.09 of a second. Who is next? We are looking at Trench. So Trench is going to be putting his first lap on the ball. Comes across with a 139.101. A respectable lap by him puts him into 7th place. Next across the line will be Bossmots in the Mercedes. He's actually on an out lap, and he invalidated that one anyway. But he will still be next across the line. Kiko on an out lap. We have Bren currently on a flying lap. But I'm going to keep my eyes peeled on Broomer. Just want to see if he is going to go for a second lap on the Inters. Very good point. Let's have a quick look just to see what tyres. So we've got a mixture of tyres now. Does look like it is becoming intermediate conditions. We'll jump on board. Certainly seems like the puddles are starting to clear up. There's still a fair amount of surface water, so it's probably just at that crossover point between the wets and the inters, but you do not want to take the risk of being out on the wrong tyres right at the end of qualifying. So Bruma there takes provisional pole with a 1:38.017 on the intermediates, and those times are only going to get faster. We have Chalkers is now on a hot lap. So who will be the next to cross the line with a time? So obviously Shabby will be starting his hot lap in a minute. Bosmots is up on his time, half a second up on his time so far. We see where Bosmots can put his Mercedes. So 38.473 puts him up in the third place. So a good lap there by Bosmots again. I think he will get a quicker lap in if he can. It will be about getting the confidence on these tyres. Okay, next to cross the line, we are looking, I think it's going to be Wesley. No, yes, it's Wesley. So Wesley coming in here again on the inters. So sector 3, second part club on to the start finish line and puts in a 38.105. So just ahead of his teammate and jumps up into second place. Next across the line we are going to have Bruma, who is up on his time. We'll see if he can keep that going into the final sector. We're going to get a 37.6. We are indeed. So Bruma now half a second clear of second place. Chalkers, just as I was trying to find him, Chalkers puts himself up in the pole position, 3/10 quicker than Bruma. We then have DTR Brent, who puts himself into third place. Wazza is also on a lap. So Trench now, 38.361 will be starting his fast lap. Who do we have coming in here? Okay, that's Kiko now starting his lap. We've got Xavi. Everybody is starting their last laps now. So Invisible, we do putting the time on. The same as Stav. So it's now on Evergents, otherwise it's 16th, 17th on the grid. So next across the line, Xavi has finished, so he's already crossed the line. So next we are with Wesley. Wesley 0.3 up on his time at the moment. We'll see if he can get a good drive coming out of the final corner. He does, up into second place, 37.524, still 2/10 behind Chalkers. Keeping an eye on Bruma, who will be the next to cross the line here. 36.9, he absolutely obliterates Chalkers' time. And then Chalkers obliterates his own time with 36.61. Times are tumbling quicker than I can find them at the moment. Brent with 37.018. Wazza then 37.623. So the times are coming down very, very quickly. Trench puts himself up into fourth place with a 37.315. We then are going to have Stav crossing the line, a 38.186. Next we will have, I think it's Kiko will cross the line, 141, so he hasn't improved there. We then have Invisible does jump up into fourth place. So cracking lap there by Invisible, putting himself onto the second row of the grid at the moment. Who else do we have? That's it. That's qualifying completed. So Chalkers takes yet another pole position there. So it's fourth of the year. Bruma then taking second place in the Williams. In third we have Brent in the Red Bull in 4th, Invisible with a late run. Then we have Trench, we have Wesley in 6th, 7th Wazza, 8th Bossmots, 9th Shabby, 10th is Stavroulis, 11th Black Mamba, 12th Prince Killer, 13th Ticket, 14th is Zabi, and the rest of them I will pick up in a moment. Okay, so congratulations to Chalkers, taking his 4th pole position of the year. You can see the tyre splits there did make the difference in the end. So we've got Chalkers on pole, then Broomer, Brent, Invisible, Trench, Wesley, Wazza coming in 7th place. Then we have Bossmot, Shabby, Stavroulis, Black Mamba, Prince Killer, Tickard, Zavi, Kiko, Cassell, and Bren.
A warm welcome to you all joining us here at Silverstone today as the grid begins to form up for what we hope will be another phenomenal race. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the British Grand Prix. With good opportunities to overtake at the end of the Wellington and Hangar Straights, there's a lot of potential for close action around the 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit. With 18 corners and average lap speeds of around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the longest and quickest circuits on the calendar.
Okay, so we're just waiting for the drivers to choose their setup. While we do, I'd just like to pop up poster, obviously just about our other divisions this week and being available on YouTube. So the F1, as you know, race on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. So today we have divisions 1 and 5. Tomorrow we have divisions 2 and 4. And on Thursday, divisions 3 and 6. It'd be great if you could tune in and watch it. Obviously on Monday as well, we have the Formula 2 Championship. So again, it would be great to see as many viewers as we can tuning in on that one. So we have a dry race. Whether it will be dry completely all the way through, we will have to wait and see. So it'll be interesting on the tyre choices to see what they have. If I can find them, there we go. Right, so we have Chalkers, Broomer and Brent. So top 3 starting on the softs. Invisible has gone for the alternate strategy on the medium. Trench in 5th will be softs. Wesley medium, Wazza softs. Then we have Bossmot, Shabby and Stavroulis on the mediums. Black Mamba on the softs. Prince, Tickard, Zavi, Kiko on the mediums, and Cassell and Brent on the soft. So we've got a bit of a mix there. What have we got? 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 8 on the softs and 9 on the mediums. Cracking qualifying there by Broomer, putting his Williams up into 2nd place, and also Brent behind. Brent's had 1 win, I believe, this year. He did indeed win at Portugal. So he's more than capable of getting a result here. Invisible. Okay, so we're starting to reform on the grid, and this will be the start of round 9, the British Grand Prix. So over halfway now, so the really is starting to hot up in the championship battle. So at the top between Shabby and Chalkers. Chalkers obviously in the prime position, on pole position at the moment. Shabby with a bit of work to do from 9th on the medium tyres as well. So let's see what ground Shabby can make up at the beginning here. Can we get a decent camera shot? Here we go. We are 3 red lights, 4, 5 red lights. The lights are out and off we go. The British Grand Prix is underway, and it's a... Oh. We have a spinner there. Unfortunately, Wesley has been caught and has taken a few cars with him that have sustained some damage. Chalker's getting away cleanly at the front. Brent into second place, jumped Broomer, so I missed that in all the excitement. Trench in fourth place, Wazza in fifth, Shabby already up into seventh place, and I don't think it will be long before he gets his way past Wazza. So a fair few divisions between them. Wazza, a regular Division 4 driver that does have an immense amount of speed, so he can going a bit wide there. That's going to be a warning, but yeah, he can compete. It's just the concentration and doing it lap after lap after lap. He will get there though. Again, going a bit wide there. I think Shabby will go for a run here. Will he look towards the inside? Nope. Thinks better of it. Not the right time, just a bit too far back. DRS will be enabled on the next lap. Who's that we have out? I thought we had a car out, and I do apologise. I think one was just going slowly, so it was a. But here we have Wazza and Tickard having a bit of a fight. Looks like Wazza got a bad exit out of that corner, costing him a fair few places. Okay, we have people in the pits. It's obviously from the first lap damage that we had. So yeah, Boss Marts, Wesley and Prince all in the pits. So got caught up in that incident. But right back at the front we have Chalkers is pretty comfortable there, pulling out a 3/4 of a second lead. And so DRS will come into play shortly, so I can see a few moves going on there. So keeping an eye, Wazza has picked up his first penalty of the day. I say on that first lap we saw him going wide at where was it, Cops, and I think again at coming out of Chapel, so that would have been 2 warnings already there. Very fine tightrope after that. Okay, Chalker's putting in the fastest lap, which is to be expected out in front at the moment. Don't really have anyone really challenging each other at the moment. So he's just settling down. I think we're going to get to the DRS soon, but Chalkers has now broken the DRS of Brent, so 1.1 seconds clear. And Brent really needs to try and clear that, get that back, which he has there. I think he used an element of ERS to pull himself back up to within a second on Chalkers, because it's so important here for the Hanger Straight. But that also obviously is if you can get a good exit from Beckett's and Chapel, which is that's something I struggle with personally. So Brent there having a bit of a moment, but keeping it together. But he has dropped half a second to Chalkers, which has dropped him out of the DRS, but puts him in the DRS zone of the cars behind him now. Okay, so Chalker's 1 3/4 second gap now. I mean, obviously aided by the small mistake that Brent made on the last lap. And Wazza second, picking up his second penalty. Lap 4. Cassell now coming on with the penalties as well, picking himself up a 3-second time penalty. Bren and Kiko changing positions there. So Bren making a move up. So I mean, Bren is the biggest gainer so far from the start, up 9 places. They've got Kiko up 6, Mamba and Shabby both up. Well, 5 for Mamba and 4 for Shabby. Are anybody close enough to go for a move? Looks like Broomer and Brent up ahead have changed positions. Looks as Trench got wing damage there. Looks like he hit the back of. He has. It's the front left end plate gone. It's a shame Trench was doing so well there, but looks like he hit the back of Brent during that battle with Broomer. So you know, nobody's fault. It happens. It's a racing incident, but. It's not going to help Trench's race. Okay, so Trench dropping down to 7th. I can see him coming into the pit shortly. On the soft tyres. 4-lap old. You can see him go onto the mediums. Perhaps the hards to the end, but I would have thought medium. He might be able to stretch a set of mediums 21. We will see. If anybody can, these D1 drivers can. So yeah, Chalker's out front. No, I don't want to lose that in case someone makes a move. Normally when I move away, somebody makes a move, so... Is there anything happening at the back? I don't think so. I think it's just Trench losing more places, unfortunately, down to that broken wing. So is he going to pit? He is indeed. So Trench into the pits. Earlier than expected or wanted for him, but he will have a nice fresh set of boots. So currently Chalker's leading by 2.7 seconds from Broomer. Brent close behind him, and close behind him as well in a really good prime position at the moment on the mediums is Shabby. We'll obviously look at going further and longer. We have a nice fight going on between Brent and Broomer here. With a nice overhead camera shot for once. You don't normally get that. I think there's going to be moves going on very, very soon. I say Broomer and Brent are having a wonderful fight, and Mamba is looking at joining the party on the back of Shabby. Shabby gets a good drive out of here with the DRS open. ERS. Brent's going to lose 2 positions in one straight. And now Shabby looking to go for a move on the outside of Broomer, which then becomes the inside. A bit of it. Yay. Okay, yeah, bit of contact there. Shabby spinning off. I think it was Kiko that might have crashed into Shabby. I can't, just trying to see if anybody has any damage. As it's such a shame because it was hotting up to be a real good battle between those at the front. Shabby's obviously going to be furious now. Got it all to do again, but if anybody can, Shabby can. So yeah, I mean, shame about the incident. I'm sure there'll be blames apportioned by both parties. But it's a shame to see, as I say, especially when it was just hotting up to be such a good 4-5 way battle at the front. But nevertheless, we still have the two Williams of Mamba and Bruma in second and third position. So they seem to be using each other to get the toe, trying to close that gap on Chalkers, who's now nearly 4 seconds clear. So yeah, both Williams are doing really, really well there. We're going to go back a bit. Kiko and Brent. Kiko in 4th place, so it's good, good effort from him so far. Brent is now going to move up the inside. So Brent moves himself up in a 4th place there with a nice clean move and an opportunist on the inside of Kiko. So invisible into the pits. Shabby's taking about a second out of Stavridis on that lap, so I think he's driving with a bit of red mist. But yeah, looking at the chat, Petter, hello, good evening. Mike, hello. Little, hello. And Enz, obviously, hello. Good to have you all here. Just looking, yeah, I mean, yeah, Chalkers is going to love this, to be honest. With Shabby dropping points behind him, he's in prime position. So he still has to make that. Still has to make that pit stop. Well, they both do, in fairness. But yeah, and then saying it's obviously going to be tough for Shabby to come back from that, which it is. But I think, as we all know, if anybody could possibly do it, it would be Shabby. But Wazza currently in 5th position on his soft tyres, so he's started a bad start, but he does have 2 lots of penalties there, so he's got at least 6 seconds to add on to the race time at the end. Invisible there picking up a time penalty, and Brent just put in the fastest lap of the race on his fresh mediums. So Wazza and Stav here having a bit of a close battle, and that's good for Shabby because it's allowed him to close in. He's well, going up to half a second. I can see Shabby making a move on one of these on the hanger straight. Then I'll make a prediction he'll get the other one on the start finish line. Got to watch now, see if it comes true. I doubt it. Jump on with Shabby, so here's Shabby, so he gets one on to the hanger straight. And round the outside of Stav. Cracking move by Shabby, so one straight and one corner, and he's made up 2 places. I did say that he would get Stav on the start finish line. He didn't even make that one. So Bruma now into the pits. Get rid of those softs. He's going to put on a set of mediums. Let's see where that brings Bruma out. So he should come out very close to Brent. So they were battling quite nicely. And Brent has got the jump on him. So the undercut there worth a good couple of seconds. So Wazza and Stav having a nice battle. Wazza deciding that he wanted to take the scenic route and have a bit of a spin. There's nobody coming behind. Invisible now putting in the fastest lap of the race with a 1:29.060. Obviously as the tanks get lighter and new tyres are going on. Alright, so Wazza's up and running again, still in 7th place. You can see him pitting soon. I think those tyres must be absolutely cooked, especially with that spin. So race leader Chalkers comes into the pits. And And so does Mamba from second, so we keep an eye to see where they come out compared to Brent and Bruma. But Kiko taking the lead in on the medium tyres. Shabby in second place. Is he going to keep it ahead of Chalkers? Yes, he is. Yeah. So we'll see what Shabby can do now. He needs to stretch that and pull out as much as he possibly can. Yeah, Mike in the chat wishes he was driving tonight, but as he said, it's quite fun to watch, which it is. But we wish you were out there, Michael. So we look forward to seeing you next week. Don't get too comfy. McLaren's only on loan to Tickard. Okay, so Wazza pits now, gets rid of those softs, so on to the mediums. So I think, has everybody now pitted? We'll have a quick look. Stops. Everybody other than the top 4 at the moment have pitted. So we'll see if Kiko and Shabby can stretch this out a bit. We are... So Chalker's 17.5 seconds behind the leader, so it's 13 seconds behind Shabby. So he's certainly got more than a pit stop in hand. Comfortably. But Shabby will be looking to stretch these mediums as far as he can. I think looking at this, we're around about that 10-11 we've had soft change. So if that's the lifespan, we would be looking at, I think Shabby would probably pit in about 5 laps time, 5-6 laps time, give himself 9 or 10 laps on those softs, see what he can put into Chalkers. So Cassell into the pits as well. He'll get rid of those 10 lap old softs now. Brem picking up a penalty there, 3-second time penalty. Wes and Prince quite close, only 11th and 12th on the edge of the points. And both on the soft, so there'll be no tyre advantage. They should both get the same grip. So I think these two could drag themselves towards boss mots, but okay, we've still got Bruma and Mamba close together. Brem, but it has, the pit stops has just spread it out ever so slightly, just a couple of seconds. It does seem to be that the undercut is quite powerful at Silverstone. Note for tomorrow night there, ends, undercut is powerful. Okay, so Stav closing up on Tickard. Wesley picking up a 3-second time penalty as well, so we'll get quite a few penalties jumping in now. Prince into the pits, get rid of those softs, so he'll be going on to mediums to the end of the race. I think it's damage limitations for him now after being caught up in turn 1 incident that saw Wesley spinning as whether he was tapped or not. Difficult to tell from the angle, but obviously all to do from there. How's Chalkers getting on? He is 4.5 seconds behind. So what were he? He was 13 seconds, wasn't he, behind Shabby? He's now 11, so he's closed that in a couple of seconds already. So fresher rubber, but Shabby will be quicker at the end on the softs, but whether he'll be quick enough to close him down, we'll have to see. I think for Shabby a podium would be a fantastic result today. No, I think it's going to drop him too far down though, to be honest, but So Wazza with another penalty there. I will just get the penalties up just for my good friend Mike, who likes to see how his friend Wazza's getting on. So we do penalty wise. We have Tickard with 3, Bren with 3, Wesley with 3, who just overtook Bosmots, who coming into the pit, so it was actually an overtake. Wazza with the 9 seconds, Invisible 3, Zavi 3, and Cassell with 3 seconds as well. So Wazza is currently leading the penalty race. Broomer's out. What's happened to Broomer? Where's... Trench is out as well. I've completely missed these. What's happened to them? Well, I'm a bit speechless on that, to be honest. I completely missed both of those, so I don't know where they went off, what happened. Broomer and Trench were both doing really well. I mean, Broomer doing very, very well. I mean, Trench was doing well till he had a bit of an instant hit in the back of, I think it was Brent during the battle for 2nd place, but completely missed what happened to them there. It's such a shame. Right, so Stav's still half a second behind Tickard. Seems like he's got the pace to stay there, but just can't get that drive to get past him. Shabby 4.2 seconds behind Kiko still, so he's closing it down slightly, but not huge amounts. I think it could be damage limitations for Shabby, especially with Chalkers taking potential race win. They're certainly in prime position for it. Going to get a better drive out of this corner. He's closed up a couple of tenths, but he's still not close enough to go for a move. Certainly not into turn 1. Whether it'll be turn 3 might be a move for him. Chalker's now on the back of these two. I don't think it'll be long before he is past them, and then he'll be looking to close down. Only got about a 7-8 second gap on Shabby now. So Chalkers does seem to be the man to beat today. He's in prime position. I think that was Stav being an absolute gentleman and moving over. I think originally he went to block the inside of the corner, but realised there just wasn't any point fighting on that. So Bosmots and Wesley into the pits. We'll keep an eye on this. Tickard should let his teammate through, and he does indeed. So only reserved for tonight, Tickard, but the race is coming into the pits. But yeah, certainly a gentleman there moving out of his way for his teammate, so it's good to see. Stav coming into the pits as well, so Brent will move up into 4th position, up into 2nd. Shabby has pitted as well and put on the soft, so let's see what Shabby can do on these last 9 laps of the race. So the tyres will be good. Shabby out into 6th. Wazza picking up another 3 seconds, so I think that's 12 seconds he's got now. Shabby 20 seconds behind. Invisible back into the pits. Not been his day again. Not been a good season so far for Invisible, and nothing to do with himself. It's just wrong place, wrong time, and he's certainly got the pace, but it just hasn't gone for him so far this season. So hopefully he can have better luck in the last 5 rounds. I say next. Yep, sorry, I was going to say, yeah, next up we are off to Saudi Arabia next week. So anything can happen there, obviously, with the street circuit. We've not raced there before, or not in an official league race. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But anyway, back to this week. Let's get the interval back and get rid of the additional graphics that we don't need. Okay, so Bren 5.8 seconds behind, and Mamba in 3rd place. So a good race so far from Mamba. Keep it up, Marco. We look forward to seeing you on the podium. Fingers crossed. Kiko, he's had a solid race actually. Kiko took the lead in the mediums as the head of the medium runners, and he's got decent pace. Currently sitting in 4th position. Got Bren behind him, but obviously there's also the buffer of the fact that Bren's got a penalty. So do we have anybody close together that we can have a look at? Bren picking up another penalty there. Let's ride on board with Shabby for a bit just to see how quickly he closes in on Bren. But then when he's past Bren, he's still got a few places to make up. I think he could possibly get as far as Kiko, but I think the podium might be just out of reach for him. There he is. We're already half the gap, so 1.4. We're down to just over 3/4 of a second. Obviously, such better grip on 1 lap old softs than 9 lap old mediums. And Shabby goes for the move up the inside of Brem. So much more grip. Much more grip coming out of Woodcop. And then could obviously take Cops pretty much flat out as well on those softs as well. So I expect to see Shabby pull away now. We'll keep an eye on that gap to Kiko, which is already tumbling. As Petter put in the chat, it would be nice to see Kiko on the podium, but I'll be honest, I don't think it's likely now. He might close in on Mamba, but he's not closing in too much at the moment, and Shabby's like a man possessed behind him, so I think he'll be past him as quick as anything. But then saying that, Shabby's not actually pulling away from Bren. So I mean, Bren obviously will be using the DRS to his advantage. Right, we have Wesley. Looks like he is going to go for a move on Invisible, or perhaps not. Invisible picks up a 3-second time penalty there. That's Prince, not Invisible. There we go. I can't even get that right. So yeah, Wesley now behind Prince. Obviously, a compound difference on tyres, as well as a good few laps different. So yeah, Prince and Wesley unfortunately getting caught up in that first corner foray, but Wesley looking for a move around the outside here. Oh, bit of a tank slapper there, but no, that's good, giving themselves both room. So Wesley moves himself up into 12th place. We'll see if he can drag himself up into the points, but Prince certainly hasn't given up. Prince picking up a 3-second time penalty there as well. So yeah, I mean, Chalkers he's just been consistent, the same as he has been all year. Puts himself on pole position, keeps his position. So it's been I wouldn't say a walk in the park for Chalkers today, but he certainly hasn't been put under much pressure other than the round of pit stops, but he still came out in space, managed to close down people in front of him. So nearly 6.5 seconds clear of second place. He can afford to back off a bit. But yeah, Brennan second place in the Red Bull, and Black Mamba still in third place in the Williams. But we now have Shabby closing up hugely on Kiko. I think it's just a matter of time now before Shabby makes this move. Just keep my eye further down as well. It looks like Prince and Wesley are having a bit of a ding-dong battle. He's going to be changing positions down there. But I just want to keep my eyes on this to see. Is Shabby going to make the move here into Brooklands? No. But he is going to take himself wide, going through Luffield and Woodcott, potentially trying to get a run onto the Wellington Straight. And looks for a move up the inside. That's a dreadful camera angle. Thank you. Good racing between the two of them. They gave each other a fair amount of room there, but I don't think Kiko's done yet. He going to tuck himself in there, and we will see what the gap does. So we're at half a second. So Kiko should get the DRS. Going through Village. Right, that looks like that's done. So I want to keep an eye on this Invisible Prince battle because it's been stellar. I've just seen it lap after lap after lap. They seem to be changing positions. They're within a few tenths of each other. So yes, this could be very good to watch. I know it's for the minor places, 12th and 13th, but it doesn't matter. You still battle for every position that you can get. You never know, a late safety car or a few crash, you can find yourself in the point. So it's always worth keeping going. So looks like Wesley has just broken it ever so slightly, but it's only, again, only half a second, so still within the DRS. So as we go through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel onto the Hanger Straight. Let's see what drive Prince gets as to whether he can use the DRS and ERS to make a move on Wesley. He's closing. I think he's too far back to make a move going into Stowe. But he stays with him. Vale and Club onto the start-finish line. 3 laps to go, including the one that we are on, which Chalkers is about 3/4 of the way round. So he will soon finish. So we keep an eye on this, but we will go back and give Chalkers some screen time. As I say, he's been immense today. He hasn't put a foot wrong. Put in a cracking qualifying lap in the wet condition or changing conditions onto the intermediate tyres. And then just pulled away at the start of the race. Managed to get himself a couple of second gap and never really looked back on that. Now nearly 7.5 seconds clear of Brent in second, who also has done really well today. Not had the luck of the draw in many races this year, but I'll be honest, I think that could be said for most of the grid, to be honest. We've all suffered some kind of incident. But you pick yourself up, you brush yourself off, and you try again the next week. But it's good to see Brent up there. And so this will back up his win in Portugal as well. So propelling himself up the drivers' standings. So Prince and Wesley are still at it. I can see this going to the final lap. I really want to keep an eye on this, but I also want to give the front some time that they're due. But this does seem to be the only fight that is going on track at the moment, and what a fight it is. I know Wesley was very complimentary about the battling in F2 on Monday. There was some good close battling there, and I know he really does enjoy it. So I think he'll be absolutely loving tonight. Although I think he'd probably wish it was for the lead, but nevertheless. So Chalkers on to his final lap of the race with a 7.5 second lead. Could pretty much get out and push it. But also Shabby just a few places back now, 2.5 seconds off the podium. I don't think he will do that, but then obviously what we don't want is for Mamba to pick up a penalty, because that could ruin it for him. But Mamba doing really well to put himself up into a podium position. Be fantastic to see him up there. Okay, so just jumping ahead to Chalkers, who comes through Chapel for the last time, onto the Hanger Straight for the last time. Not even, there we go. The next car just came round the corner as he was exiting Hanger Straight. So he is now down to Stowe. Go through Vale and through Club onto the start-finish line. And Chalkers is the Season 2 British Grand Prix winner of Division 1. Congratulations to him. An absolute dominant performance by him. 8 seconds clear of Brent, who brings it home. Congratulations to Brent. And the last of the podium is Mamba. Shabby there. 1.5 seconds back from a podium. Pulled out over 4 seconds on Kiko there, who comes home in 5th. In 6th, we will have Brent in the Alpine, picking up his first points. I think that's Bren. I'll have to check. Tickard coming home in 7th. 8th will be Stavroulis. 9th will be, well, it might be Wazza, but I think he's got an awful lot of penalties to go on top of that. So I think Xavi is likely to jump in, and potentially Bosmots as well. Xavi does indeed jump him. Bosmots will be next across the line, and he jumps Xavi and Wazza. So Prince will be the next one, and Prince and Wesley, they were nose to tail for pretty much about the last 7 or 8 laps of that, changing positions. I just have to say, from a commentary point of view, it was grand to watch. Driver of the day there for Bren. And there we have Chalkers again on the top spot. I think that's his 4th win this year as well. So he's had 4 poles, 4 wins. Very consistent. And congratulations to him on the win today. Also for DTR Brent for 2nd place and Black Mamba in 3rd in the Williams. So a good race there. So literally looking at the finishing, we have Chalkers taking the win, then Brent in 2nd, Mamba in 3rd. In 4th, we have Shabby picking up a point for the fastest lap as well. Kiko in 5th. In 6th, we have Brent, 7th, Tickard, 8th, Stavroulis, 9th, Bosmots, 10th, Xavi, 11th, Wazza, 12th, Prince, 11th, Wesley. No, 12th. I can't get my numbers right. 13th, Wesley, 14th, Invisible, 15th, Cassell, 16th, Broomer, and 17th Trench, the latter 2 not finishing, which I do apologise, I missed that completely. So that has been